so that you can manage additional data in the company database. Instead of putting new isolated input fields into an existing form, you can insert a completely new tabbed page in it. So you can add an entire set of new input fields at one go. These fields may be bound to columns that have been added to an existing table, or they may refer to the data of another table, which is related to the main table handled by the form. Furthermore, you are able to define a new data entry form, created from scratch, which you can use to manage the data contained in an additional table. You can apply all these changes in a diversified way which depends on the current user login. That is, the criteria that determine how to load customized resources stored as XAML files are based upon the user credentials under which the application is running. A customization may be very useful only for some users that have a certain job to do, and meaningless for others. All these form customizations are made up of XAML files as regards the interface design, and of other specific application files as regards the underlying data structures. Anyway, this can be accomplished without writing a single line of C++ code. If you want to associate your new interface elements with particular behaviors in response to events that are raised by user interaction, you can write instructions in a suitable scripting language which will be interpreted and executed at runtime by TaskBuilder. More in detail, we have decided to use the scripting language which is already supported by Worm, so that the customizer will not get confused because of the introduction of another language which you should be asked to learn. The TaskBuilder Design IDE also provides other tools that may be very useful for anybody who wants to customize the standard Mago.net product. I want to mention the plugin which has been thought as a kind of manager of the customization development process, of its assemblage as a composite project, and of its subsequent compilation as a deployable package. A customization must be intended as a mixed set of files, among which there are worm reports, metadata, XAML files containing application resources, files that define new elements of the data structure, or menu files. These files are distributed onto different file system folders, depending on their role within the application. If you create a customization project, you are then able to organize these files in order to produce a compressed file which can be easily installed at the customer site. At last, I wish to underscore one very important aspect of the customization work, which, as we well know, is taken to heart by our TaskBuilder developers. That is, the bulk and complexity of the changes they have to make in their code every time a new version of our platform comes out, especially when it brings drastic changes to the behavior model of application objects, or even when, as in this case, it alters the architecture of the entire platform in a significant manner. Hence, our project is carried out in the name of past maintenance. We intentionally preserve all the old behaviors of the objects involved, and we have also conserved the previous application document loading mechanism, that is, that one based upon resources embedded in the executable files. So our customization developers will be able to tackle their code upgrade work step by step, gradually adapting themselves to the new way of coming up with interface objects, being quite sure that in the meanwhile anything which follows the old way of managing resources will still function properly.